All right. Good morning, PTNI's Daily Show. Happy Thursday morning. Hope your morning is off to a great start here. Happy to have you on the PTNI's Daily Show presented by the Institute of Clinical Excellence. My name is Alan. I'm happy to be your host today. Currently have the pleasure of serving as ICE's Chief Operating Officer and a lead faculty in our fitness athlete division. Apologize for my unkept appearance. Just finished a long morning of coaching and doing Gut Check Thursday. So here is why my hair looks this way. Here on Leadership Thursday, we talk all things small business ownership, clinic management, and operations. Before we get into today's topic, starting a three-part series on how and who to hire, we're going to dig a little bit into Gut Check Thursday, as well as courses coming up as we approach the end of the year. So Gut Check Thursday this week. This is a workout I wrote myself. This is a workout I wrote for my wife to do in the garage over the weekend. And as I watched her go through it, I thought, this is a good workout for Gut Check. So our workout, 3 sets going through 30, 20, 10, hang alternating dumbbell snatches, gentlemen 50-pound dumbbell, ladies 35-pound dumbbell, combined with alternating box step-ups. So a little posterior chain and shoulders, and then some quads and calves on the box step-up. No weight on the box step-up. It's unloaded. Our goal there is somewhere between 5 to 7 minutes per round, and then we have 3 minutes of rest after every set. So 30, 30, 20, 20, 10, 10, rest, run it back 2 more times. Just finished doing it, was able to keep around 5 minutes a set. So your total working time is going to be somewhere between 15 to maybe 20 minutes on the high end. It is higher volume, 180 snatches, 180 step-ups. So if you're thinking about using this in the clinic with a patient or with a client who's maybe a little bit more deconditioned, then think about maybe 2 sets. We've offered some scale options in our posts on Facebook and Instagram as well as to how to reduce the workload and reduce the weight to make it more manageable for the person in front of you. So have fun with Gut Check Thursday. Courses coming your way. We're almost at the end. We have 2 more weekends of live courses. We have some courses this weekend, the last weekend before Thanksgiving. And then our last weekend of live courses for the year will be December 3rd and 4th. We'll have Mitch out in Santa Barbara, California for Clinical Management of the Fitness Athlete Live. We'll have Jordan at his home base, Onward Charlotte, for lumbar management. We'll have Zach Morgan in Cincinnati at Onward Cincinnati, also for lumbar spine management. We'll have Justin down in Paoli, Pennsylvania at Onward Paoli for total spine thrust. And our last live course of the year will be lower quadrant dry needling up in Milwaukee at Onward Milwaukee with Paul. After the new year, our first weekend of live courses open to the public is going to be the weekend of January 14th and 15th. A bunch of different options. I'm not going to go through them all. We are already as booked for 2023 as we were for the entire year of 2022. So if you're looking to find us, p10ice.com, click on courses. All of our online courses run every 8 weeks. We'll have 5 to 10 live courses or more pretty much every weekend throughout the year next year. So check us out on the website. Check out our live and online courses. So today's topic, how and when to hire, the first in a 3-part series. This was a great question we received from our friends up at Lake Effect Chiropractic up in Saginaw, Michigan. They came down to see Jordan teach cervical spine management a few weeks ago. And we had some great discussion on a break about when to know you're ready to bring somebody else on board at your clinic, and then how to actually go about hiring them. Not, going to Indeed.com or ZipRecruiter and just grabbing some rando with a resume that looks good enough and offering them a job, but how to be really detailed in finding the right fit that's going to really complement your clinic in a really good way. And we'll talk in the preceding weeks coming up of how should we pay that person and some more details once we've actually decided who we're going to hire and how we're going to hire them. So to prep for today's episode, if you haven't yet listened to Jeff Moore's episode from a couple weeks ago, also a Leadership Thursday episode 1310. So a couple weeks ago now, the title, Hiring What Most Companies Get Wrong. Jeff did a really good job of talking to our belief here that you don't hire somebody out of desperation, that a lot of businesses, physical therapy or not, hire when their workload volume is so high they can't manage it anymore, which is really kind of a desperate play to just get a warm body in a position to take on some of the volume and let the steam off of you yourself as the owner, if you're kind of an owner operator and you're the only person at the practice, or all the other therapists, if kind of you have a whole staff already and they're all overloaded, they all have wait lists, they're all full on their schedule. A lot of times we wait until that point. We wait until the water is boiling over the pot to try to come in and blow on it a little bit and let a little bit of steam off, when instead we should have been watching that for weeks or months ahead of time and planning our next hire a little bit more strategically. So go back, listen to Jeff's episode first, and then come back and listen to this one. So I will have assumed you've listened to that episode already, and we're going to take that as a primer and run with it today. So I want to touch on 3 topics today. The first is you should always hire before you think you're ready to hire. Often we think I have to have a full caseload. I have to have some arbitrary amount of patients or an arbitrary wait list before I consider myself busy enough or my clinic busy enough to bring somebody else on. And again, that leads to that hire out of desperation. Not only does that result in you probably grabbing somebody that's a less than optimal fit for your clinic, it doesn't give that person a chance to become anything less than suboptimal. They jump in and you're already expecting that person to sometimes take on a full caseload, to simultaneously learn your systems, learn how your clinic does stuff, maybe change the entire way they practice. If they're coming from a practice where they are used to seeing a patient every 15 minutes, they are used to being the manual therapy robot or the dry needling robot. They have no experience maybe actually loading patients. They don't know how to teach the squat or the deadlift. You make that desperation hire and you just throw that person right into the deep end and you say sink or swim. And oftentimes these folks sink. And then we say, oh, we made a bad decision, when really we did make a bad decision. We made a hire out of desperation, and then we did not set that person up for success at all. We actually arguably set that person up for failure. And then we're upset that they didn't deliver on an overpromised expectation. So always be thinking about, who is my next hire? When is my next hire? If you are in the ownership or the management side of a clinic, you should have a good bead on your metrics. How long is our wait list? How full is every therapist's caseload? Is every therapist 100% full and they're running an average of a 4-week wait list? You're in trouble. You have enough patients, you have enough volume coming in to hire another therapist. But now you're in a position where everybody's overloaded and you're likely to make that desperation hire. You're likely to throw somebody into the deep end when they're not ready. So we want to hire somebody maybe when we know intentionally they're going to have a small amount of volume. And that's going to do a lot. That's going to give us time to maybe onboard them and give them some mentorship. Maybe they are that person that says, I'm not really comfortable loading. I'm not really comfortable with dry needling. I'm not comfortable with spinal manipulation. That gives us time to, yes, let that person see patients. Yes, make some money, but also have time in the day to go over the case, to go over the clinical reasoning, to make sure they're actually who that you thought they were when you hired them, that they understand clinical reasoning, they understand the symptom behavior model, they're comfortable with their manual therapy skills, and they're loading. They're the complete package. If they're not, you have time in your day, they have time in their day to be really diligent about front loading some mentorship. And also front loading, just teaching them how things work. How does your EMR work? How does this system work? How do we do this? How does linen work? All the things we take for granted that we just kind of do automatically throughout our day as physical therapists, because there are systems as the owner, or we've been working at the clinic a long time and we just understand the systems through repetition that new person isn't going to understand. So being intentional and bringing somebody on board a little bit earlier, and it's okay if they're slow at the start, to give them time to learn your systems, to give you time to make sure they're up to speed on the way you expect them to be treating. And also, if you bring somebody on board, and Jeff spoke to this a lot, so I'm not going to reiterate it. If you bring somebody on board and they already have a full caseload, there's really not that pressure for them to deliver and learn how to maintain and feel that challenge to maintain that full caseload, right? If somebody shows up and you say, I have a full caseload for you, you don't have to do anything. You just have to show up and have a license in good standing and a pulse, and you're going to have a patient at every slot of your day. That really doesn't keep that pressure that we like to see on people to deliver really good outcomes. That keeps people coming back for the follow-up appointments, and it keeps people talking about how great your clinic is to their friends, to their family, to other healthcare providers, so more patients keep coming in your door. So my first point is we should be thinking about hiring before we are ready. The second piece I want to talk about here is making a hire before your wait list is too full. We've talked about this a couple of times. It's been maybe a couple of years since we've addressed the concept of a wait list of you are so full you cannot take on any more evaluations. New EMRs and scheduling software. You're probably used to seeing this. Maybe if you book an appointment to get your hair cut or with your dentist, or maybe you get physical therapy yourself, you jump onto that online scheduler and it says, hey, advancing you to whatever day. That's the next available appointment for so and so. That is really good for us with our ego as healthcare providers to have the patient say, hey, Dr. Jordan Berry isn't available today. He's not available this week. His next available appointment is February 8th, 2023. That makes us feel great. We are in such demand. We are killing it so much that patients can't see us for weeks or months. That's good for our ego. It's bad for everything else about physical therapy. Bad for the patient. They have an issue or they have a goal they want your help with meeting. They have money. You have the solution. It should be a very easy way to have that person give you their money and give them the product that they want. However, your lack of having availability is getting in between that and preventing that person from giving your money. In business, always make it easy for the target customer to give you their money. Make it as easy as possible. A really long wait list is great for our ego. It is terrible for business. When I meet people who say, oh, I love to run a 6 to 8 week wait list, I think this person is a moron. This person is giving up money, right? What do we know is going to happen in that 6 to 8 week waiting period before that person has their evaluation booked? They're probably going to go see other healthcare providers. They're probably going to spend money elsewhere with other allied healthcare providers. They might go on down and grab an image or maybe even think about getting scheduled for surgery, right? They're going to jump down the American industrial medical complex rabbit hole and probably fall down pretty deep before they end up on your doorstep if they show up at all. What is the likelihood that that person shows up for the evaluation a month from now, 2 months from now? I would say and argue that it's probably small, that when that appointment time comes, that person is probably not going to show up, or they're probably going to call when they get that reminder and say, hey, I've been going somewhere else. No, thank you. Very rarely is it that that person goes, oh, thank goodness. I've been just waiting by the phone to hear from you for the past 4 weeks or the past 6 weeks, waiting for your call to get in. I'm so glad to hear from you. Normally we hear that they've gone somewhere else and they're going to continue there, or they've gone somewhere else and their plan of care has gone completely different. And I would argue that that's all on you for not having the availability to see that patient. We know from the research that getting somebody in for physical therapy as soon as possible is the most beneficial thing to everybody. To us, we're getting paid right away, right? That's good. It's the best for the patient. The sooner they get the care, the less time and money they spend in the healthcare system. And it's better for the healthcare system as well, both from an outcomes perspective, a long-term outcomes perspective, but also from a cost perspective. That person doesn't go get spinal manipulation from maybe a chiropractor for a couple of visits. They don't go get an injection. They don't go get an x-ray or an MRI or get a consultation with an orthopedic surgeon. If they call and say, I have back pain, and you can get them in that day, the next day, a couple days later, their outcomes are that much better. They don't get a chance to develop from an acute patient into a chronic patient. So running a really long wait list is a really bad idea. Great for our ego, bad for every other aspect of our business. So that is kind of the marker of when you know that you should be looking for another therapist. That when all of your therapists are telling you, I have a 2-week wait list, I have a 3-week wait list. Ooh, I'm getting close to a 4-week wait list. Their schedule is so full that not only do they have enough work right now, they have enough work for a long time in the future. And that is really what metric you need to be watching on the ownership or management side to know that it's time to bring somebody else on board. Yes, you're letting steam off everybody else. And yes, you may not have a full caseload for that person, but we already addressed that in our first point, that that's okay. You know that you can clear up some of that wait list and get those patients in sooner when you bring somebody else on. That person is going to start with a couple patients on their caseload, and that's enough for you to work with them on a mentorship side and a system side to get them plugged in. So use your wait list and use your growing wait list is one of your metrics to know when it's time to hire. My final point is you should hire when you believe you found the right person, regardless of everything else I've talked about. Throw all of that out of the window. When you have that rock star student, when you meet that person at a course or in the gym or wherever else you might interact with a physical therapist, you think, gosh, this person is wonderful. I bet they kill it in the clinic. I bet they help people get better. especially if that person has a skill set that's different than your own. When you meet that rock star pelvic floor physical therapist and you don't address that population at all, you basically are getting a license to print money, right? Pelvic floor therapists are in very high demand. There's not enough of them. They're very spread out from a geographic purpose. And finding a therapist like that has a skill set different than yours not only lets them help you with your wait list now, but very quickly they're probably going to fill up their caseload because they have such a specialty and they're probably going to be in demand in your area. So you know that person's going to be successful. You know they're a good fit from a culture and personality standpoint. And really all you need to do is watch them practice. Maybe you go shadow them at their clinic, or you have them come in and co-treat for a day in your clinic, and you just confirm that it's a good fit clinically, and you hire that person when you know that they're successful, especially when they have a different skill set. Something really underutilized in physical therapy is using students as future hires and viewing students as future employees. Here at Health HQ, we only really take students when we're looking to hire or when Jeff Moore really begs us to take a student from South College, because we know they're going to be dialed in and they're not going to need a lot of work as far as their clinical reasoning and kind of mentorship compared to students from other schools. We don't take a lot of students. We take maybe 1 to 2 students a year. We're quite picky, and we mainly take students when we're looking to hire somebody. And I would challenge you in your clinics, do not just take students to have an extra set of hands. Do not take students because you believe you need to just give back arbitrarily to the profession. Yes, it's important that students have really high quality clinical sites, but it's important for you, especially as you move into a management or ownership situation, that students are viewed as potential future employees and that you should have an interview process for those students. You should make sure they're a good fit as a student because you're potentially looking at hiring that person as an employee. And what better time than during a clinical rotation where you have a lot of time to work with that person to really mentor them up? It makes it that much more easy to hire that person and start to put patients on their caseload. So view students in a different light other than as a second set of hands or somebody you can put extra patients on and make money off of because you don't have to pay the student a salary. Start to look at students as an opportunity to train your next hire, especially if you're already thinking my wait list is getting kind of full, especially if you're thinking this student has an interest in an area of practice that I don't have an expertise in that could really complement your practice. So if you think they're successful, if you know or think they'll be a good fit, and especially if you're thinking we have a student coming up, those are when you're looking to bring somebody on board because you think you have found the right person that's going to have no trouble at all building up to a full caseload. And again, if you haven't, please go back and review Jeff's episode 1310, and really kind of learn a little bit more of our mindset that you shouldn't hire somebody and just give them a full caseload. We should be bringing somebody on board before you're ready. Give them time to get some mentorship, build up their caseload, get their name out there, learn your systems, help set them up for success, and ideally get them on board before the wait list is too full. So I hope this helps. Over the next couple of weeks, we're going to talk about how should I pay people when we're talking about, okay, we found the person, we want to hire them. How do we actually do that? What does that look like from a systems and organizational and a financial perspective? A lot of us don't know the difference between maybe W-2 or 1099 pay, the pros and cons. So we're going to discuss that over the next couple of weeks as well and help you find the best system for you in your situation. So I hope this was helpful. Again, go back and review Jeff's episode. Hire before you're ready. Hire before your wait list is too full, and hire when you believe you've truly found the right person that's a good fit, that has a different skill set than you, that can really augment your practice. So have fun with Gut Check. Have a great weekend. If you're going to be on a course this weekend, have a wonderful weekend. I hope you all have a very happy Thanksgiving. I'll see you all in 2 weeks. Bye, everybody.